dying sucks. And we all want to pretend we're the best speedrunners in Monster Hunter. But stuff happens, so we need to become something different. We need to become... So I'm going to arm you with a couple of different builds that you'll be able to use on a variety of weapon types that is still going to do a substantial amount of damage on any of these weapons, while also giving you that comfiness that you really need in some of these higher rank quests. The first setup's going to be utilizing 4 pieces of Shia with 1 piece of the greater Arkveld. We're using Shia here for the set bonus of Shia's Pulse. It does have super recovery for the 2-piece as well as the 4-piece bonus. The 2-piece bonus will give you 1 health back every 2 seconds, once the red portion or yellow portion of your HP bar has already been healed up. The 4-piece here will double that recovery, allowing you to get 1 health back every second. So 1 health every second. If you're missing 50 health, 50 seconds of taking no damage will allow you to fully recover that missing 50 HP. It's a small benefit and small bonus, but it does add up over time. This is a nice, very comfy skill, especially if you are a more veteran hunter. You get hit every once in a while. You'll be allowing yourself to basically just stay aggressive on the monster and allow the super recovery to slowly heal you back up over time. And we can further increase this with decoration slots, but that's going to be something that you may or may not want to do, but we'll talk about that in a second. The headpiece we're going to be utilizing is a Shia headpiece. It does have the equipment skill of Agitator as well as recovery speed increase. It also comes with a level 3, level 2, and level 1 decoration slot. The body here is also going to be Shia's, which comes with a level 2 Agitator and a level 3 decoration slot. The waist here is also going to be Shia with 2 Agitator, and it's going to give us level 1 of Coalescence, which isn't really anything crazy. It's just more or less a bonus, but it also does come with a level 2 decoration slot to go with that level 2 Agitator. The feet here, the weakest part of this build, but we are aiming for that 4-piece bonus, is going to be Shia's Greaves. It comes with a level 3 decoration slot and a level 2 decoration slot, and then comes with level 1 recovery speed, level 1 counter strike, and level 1 elemental absorption. Elemental absorption is going to allow you to, well, get a slight increase to your elemental attack and as well as your elemental resistances, allow you to take slightly less damage and do slightly more damage after you take elemental damage. But the recovery speed here is extremely nice, and it also does come with counter strike, which is one of the more easier ways for you to boost your attack and your overall damage input if you're not a crazy speed runner, regardless of the weapon that you're using. The greater Arkveld Van Braces come with level 2 weakness exploit, and it does come with 3 level 1 decoration slots. We're going to be using 3 tenderizer jewels. This is going to allow us to hit level 5 weakness exploit. We're also going to hit level 5 agitator, level 3 maximum might, because we're going to be slotting mighty jewel level 2 into all 3 of our level 2 decoration slots, and then level 1 counter strike, level 1 coalescence, as well as level 1 elemental absorption. This allows us to hit most of our nice DPS increases. Level 5 weakness exploit giving us 30 to 50% affinity, maximum might for most weapon types, not talking about you, dual blades, bows, and possibly hammers, giving us another 30% affinity. And then we also do get agitators 15% affinity and 20 raw attack while active. So with maximum might and weakness exploit targeting just weak points, not necessarily wounded targets, with agitator active, we already have 75% affinity, not counting for the affinity you may have on your weapon, and also not counting for the increase in affinity you could gain from hitting access to a wound, which would boost it all the way up to 95% affinity. Oh yeah, corrupted mantle affinity, I guess, until those wounds open. This also does leave you with 3 level 1 gem slots open and a talisman of your choice. For level 1 gem slots, I would recommend that you actually slot in the medicine jewel. This does increase your recovery through all things that you are healing yourself with, whether it's going to be potions, mega potions, hunting horn, healing dudes from maybe your super awesome multiplayer co-op teammate, or most importantly, it also will heal you up from the Shia 4-piece bonus as well. Level 3 medicine is going to give you a 1.3 times multiplier to your healing over time, and it does in fact work with the Shia 4-piece set bonus, meaning that instead of healing for 1 health every 1 second, you heal for 1.3 health every 1 second instead. And yes, the game actually does keep track of fractional HP increases in the background. And this also does allow you to slot in what other talisman that you want to use. You don't have to use a weakness exploit talisman, so you can go with something like Mushroom Mancer if you want to gain access to some further buffs that way. You can also throw in a leveled up Quick Sheath talisman if you're using something like a great sword or a long sword. One of my personal favorites, however, is actually going in with Earplugs level 2. This will allow you to dodge most roars from monsters in the game, allowing you to have a more comfy build, get in there, do some damage. If you get hit and chip down, Shia's helping you out, recover that HP. And also you're going to be taking less damage if you're someone who's just kind of casually playing with their friends. You're not going to get comboed from a roar into like an Arkveld chain slam because you have access to earplugs. But one of the best talismans that you can use for general play is actually going to be Counter-Strike regardless of the weapon that you're using. If you're not a speedrunner, you take damage, you fall down every once in a while. 25 raw attack for about 40 seconds is a crazy amount of raw boost. This is the equivalent of having multiple levels of attack up in your weapon, which we can't really do in Monster Hunter Wilds. It is a little bit of a waste here because we already have a level 1 Counter-Strike due to our feat, but it also is going to be a little bit flexible for you as well. Maybe you don't have access to every single kind of level 3 decoration slot jewels, and if that sounds like you, then you can swap out some of these level 3 decorations like 2 Tenderizer jewels, put in the level 2 decorations of Counter-Strike to gain access to level 3 Counter-Strike, and then just go ahead and craft the weakness exploiter charm, and you'll be able to hit the same exact stats that you see in this loadout while also utilizing slightly lower leveled and easier to gain access to decorations. The second setup's gonna be very similar to the first. It's going to be 2 pieces of Shia and 2 pieces of the Greater Arkveld set, so we gain access to 2 different 2-piece set bonuses. The only difference between this build and the previous one is going to be swapping our leg armor. We're going to be going from the Shia legs over to the Greater Arkveld Greave betas. We're going to be gaining 1 point of weakness exploit from the equipment skill here, and we're going to be gaining, yes again, another elemental absorption from our equipment skill loadout. Our decoration slots in the Greater Arkveld Greaves are going to be 2 and 1, and we're going to be slotting in Mighty Jewel 2 for that maximum might, and we're also going to be getting 1 recovery jewel here as well because we need to be able to maintain our ability to have level 3 recovery speed, so we go and heal our red HP bar as quickly as possible so our 2-piece Shia can start healing us over time. And just like before, we're gonna have 3 level 1 decoration slots, and I would still advise you to go in there and put in 3 level 1 medicine jewels, because just like before, this is gonna activate and increase the healing that we receive from super recovery on the Shia 2-piece bonus, but on top of that, it's also going to increase the healing we receive from the Greater Arkveld's Vitality, which is going to restore a moderate amount of health when destroying a wound on a large monster. In comparison to the 4-piece Shia setup, this setup allows you to sacrifice that nice recovery over time guaranteed for some burst healing when you detonate these large wounds on these large monsters. Do note that you have to actually be the one destroying the wound, so if you're playing solo player, you can leave multiple wounds on a monster, take some hits, have the Shia 2-piece heal you up a little bit, and then detonate those wounds sequentially to get a large amount of burst healing thanks to those medicine charms and the 2-piece Guardian Arkveld Vitality setup bonus. However, if you're playing with your friendly Dualblader in co-op, this probably might not work that well for you. I don't know what it is with the Dualbladers and just always detonating. And this setup also does have an open talisman slot, and this time we won't be wasting anything if we just go ahead and throw a level 3 counter charm in this talisman slot to gain access to that nice 25% raw attack bonus. Honestly, this talisman is just so good for the vast majority of weapons and players in the game because we're all going to get hit, we're all going to get knocked down, and this has a pretty decent uptime for the vast majority of the player base in Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm not going to waste your time with the math on it in this video. I'm sure there's someone out there on Reddit or a YouTube video that if you really want to dive deep and you're a math person, they can tell you just how good this is. Another setup that I've personally been using to just tank as much upfront damage as humanly possible. This literally shrugs off damage. You just won't get one shot. You can't die. You will become invincible. Is slotting in some level 1 defense charms here into the Greater Arkveld Van Braces, regardless of which of the setups you're working with, the 4-piece Shia or the 2-piece Shia 2-piece Greater Arkveld set, and then using a level 4 defense talisman charm in this setup, which will give us plus 10% defense in a flat 35 bonus, with all elemental resist increases of plus 5. Do note that this setup does sacrifice the whopping 30% increase that you'll get from having 3 level 1 medicine jewels. However, if you're having problems getting one shot by some of the harder monsters, especially maybe you haven't leveled up your armor yet, this is something that you can think about as well. And if you want to go absolutely overboard, I wouldn't suggest it, but you could totally swap the corrupted mantle out for our very friendly Rocksteady mantle, which will further reduce the damage we take. And also, because we're using a level 4 defense talisman in our talisman slot instead of an anti-earplugs one, this also will protect us from both wind pressures, roars, and tremors. So if you really just want to turn your brain off for, I don't know, 90 seconds, the Rocksteady mantle is pretty good here. We can get our defense pretty high. Right now we're at 521 with this setup, and I am one of those lovable hunting horn mains. Well, the Arkveld horn is my jam, and using the armor skin as well as putting down an echo bubble here, we can get up to a whopping 566 defense. We only have -5 dragon resistance. Everything else is in the positives, and we can face tank everything in the game. I think even something crazy like tempered Mitsune's tail slam only hits me for about half my life, and then half of it comes back from the super regeneration recovery up, and I just kind of go and beat it down again. Whatever, you get hit, you get up. I haven't used a potion. I haven't used a potion since I've built this build. I literally feel this setup's quite nice. You only sacrifice a small amount of damage for this crazy amount of survivability. The main amount of damage that we're sacrificing is, well, you've guessed it, antivirus with a 2-piece gore bonus, which gives us 25% affinity. So we're losing a little bit of affinity against enemies that, well, don't have wounds on them, but once something is wounded, we go right back up to 95% due to our level 5 agitator, as well as our level 5 weakness exploit. And this is a more offensive build. That's going to be for another day. And if you want to see that, make sure you let me know. Drop a like, put a comment down for the algorithm overlords. It's literally the only thing they care about. And I'll catch you guys